today's video, I decided to do my DIY mom box of goodies. I'll be sharing with you how I put together this box where it's very simple. It looks more complicated than it actually is. And here we go. If you want to see how I created this, stick around. For this DIY, I purchased these letters from Hobby Lobby. They're around $1.99 or $1.50, I can't remember. So I got an MOM. And then I got this set of craft knives from the dollar store. And basically all that we need to do if you're doing this along with me is you'll take your knife and try to carve out like a line or an outline for yourself to make it easier while you start cutting out the inside part of the lettering, if that makes sense. You'll see throughout the video what I mean. But basically start cutting in or cutting out all that that you don't need so that we have a space to actually put the items. Now, as you can see, my craft knife broke on me, or it came apart. I mean, what can I expect? It's not the best quality. So just make sure you're using one that works for you. I made it work at the end. And as you can see throughout the video, I got the hang of it. It just takes trying until you can figure it out. So yeah, basically just cutting all the inside so that I can take that apart, and you'll do the same for the rest of your letters. Once I was done cutting, I took all the inside parts out, and then I moved on to carving the rest or cutting out the rest of my letters. But as you can see, I did notice that it was actually easier to cut if I went all the way closest to the end of the letter. Does that make sense? I hope it does. But as you can see in the first letter, I left like an inch where I started doing that outline because I thought that would be easier, but no, actually it wasn't. So don't leave an inch. Just go ahead and start cutting away. So yeah, did the same for the O, as I mentioned. And you could always go back and clean the edges or any extra cardboard that you have, like I did with the rest of the letters. Here's where I went back to do some cleanup. Basically, I took the knife and then started cutting out any areas that we didn't need. But actually, you don't need to do that. It comes apart on its own because you've cut out the inside. That if you just pull your cardboard, it'll work. So now the next part is adding your stuff inside the little letters. So I took some plastic wrap. You could also take some parchment paper, whatever works best for you. I was planning to use this cupcake kit to put the strawberries, but I didn't end up using it. It was too big. So basically all that I did was take my plastic wrap and start placing it inside of the lettering. This is just, an extra step. You don't need to do it, to each his own, but you don't know where these letters have been and you're putting food. So I like to protect the food and just make sure that we're putting some plastic there. Again, to each his own. I decided to do it for mine. So yeah, you'll see me just trying to measure it as best as I could. It doesn't need to be perfect because you won't see the plastic with the food on top of it. It's just as a protective. Once I was done adding the plastic, this is what I ended up with. So now I am ready to add the actual food into the letters. So what I use is strawberries, because I made my own chocolate strawberries, sorry. And I purchased my chocolate from Hobby Lobby. If you haven't tried their melting chocolate, I highly recommend it. One of my favorite. Then you could use whatever type of food that you want to add to your letters. I'm keeping it mainly sweets, but it all depends to the person you're giving it to. In this case, your mom. We like sweets here, so I'm using all sweets, but you can literally add whatever you want. Keep it all candy, keep it all salty, whatever floats the boat. Another item that I purchased is this cake box or cupcake box so that I can actually put the letters in there and it's easier to carry. So you can technically just take your letters, add them in there, and start adding the food. So this is what it would look like. I wanted to make sure that they fit, and it was actually perfect. I kind of squeezed them in, but it was perfect. If it was bigger, maybe I can add more stuff around it, but it didn't bother me that it was like this. So this is what it should look like, um, just like that. So what I'm going to do now is actually make my chocolate strawberries. Very simple. I wash my strawberries. If you do this, make sure that your strawberries are extra dry. And I'm taking some parchment paper so that I can place my strawberries once I've dipped them in the chocolate. So here, as you can see, it's very simple. Parchment paper. Then take your chocolate. For this type of chocolate, and I think for mainly or mostly all chocolates, when you're using them to dip strawberries or any other item, you want to make sure that you're checking on it. So what you'll do is you'll put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, then stir, then another 30 seconds and stir until it's completely melted. You do not want to add a minute and leave it all there without stirring it. So this is what the perfect melting chocolate should look like. And it lets you know that you are ready to start dipping your strawberries. This chocolate, what I like about it is that it does dry really fast. So as you'll see, I'll dip it, place it on the parchment paper, and by the time I'm done with the first one, by the time I'm ready to dip the second one, the other one's already dry. So that's great. And then once I'm done, or once you're done, you put them in the fridge until you're ready to use them. And these are the final strawberries. Now that I'm done, I'm just going to take them and put them on the fridge until I'm ready to use them. The next step is basically to start decorating the little boxes. Just take all the food that you have and start placing them. As you can see, I played around with the placement. I moved a lot of things back and forth until I can figure out how I wanted it to look. And yeah, this is, I think, the creative part of how you want how you want your box to look like. Something that I really liked is that the little brownies that I got fit perfectly, which was great. I didn't have to cut anything, so that was fun. But yeah, that's technically all you're gonna do now. After you're done placing all the food that you have or the items that you have, then we can start decorating the box. Once I was done placing all the food items to my liking, which took me quite a while because I am kind of a perfectionist and it just had to look right. So this is my final result and I can say that I'm very happy with it. Maybe next time I'll add more color to the food. Maybe the chocolate will change it up, but that was the end result. So technically we're done. This is what it should look like. However, that's too plain for me and I am kind of extra. So I needed to add some more color, more stuff to it. So I decided to purchase some flowers and some paper to just decorate the inside of the box. But technically you can be done, but it's for mom, so we have to make it extra cute, right? Or to whoever you're giving it to. So you see me here playing around with the paper, then placing the letters, and this is where I started cutting my flowers to my liking. And again, it's playing around with the placement of everything and how you want it to look. So I did move it around quite a lot. Again, it took me a while, but it was worth it because it turned out perfect. Ta-da! This is my final result. I think it turned out pretty well. This is my first time making this as well, so I hope you enjoy watching this video. I did want to give my mom a big message here on this video. Gracias, mamá. Gracias por darme la vida, por quererme como soy, por todos tus besos y abrazos, por cuidar de mí en todos momentos, por creer en mí, por ser un ejemplo como mujer. Gracias por todo lo que haces cada día por nosotras todavía, por ir y venir y llegar y recoger, esperar y acompañarme, porque tu comida tiene nada que envidiarle al mejor restaurante, por tus poderes de clarividente en cada te lo dije, por esperarme en el sofá, sin poder dormir todas las noches que salía de fiesta. Quiero que seas eterna, mi mejor amiga por siempre. Gracias por darme la vida. Te quiero tanto, mamá, más de lo que tú te imaginas. Y aunque yo sé que ningún regalo que yo te dé o te haga va a ser suficiente para darte las gracias por todo lo que has hecho por Viri, Lari y por mí, y lo que sigues haciendo y seguirás haciendo. Pero nunca se te olvide que eres una fregona, que aquí estamos para ti, al igual que tú has estado por nosotras. Y te queremos mucho. Disfruta de tu día, mamá. Love you.